Hello students, today we will start a new chapter, that is waves. Let us discuss some objective questions based on the concept of waves, wave motion and sound. Let us go to the first question. A wave traveling in positive x direction with amplitude 0.2 meter has a velocity of 360 meter per second. If wavelength is 60 meter, then the correct expression for the wave is. There are options given there. Just go through the options. The basic idea behind this particular question is, so they have given some parameters related to the waves. That is the amplitude, velocity and the wavelength. So using these parameters, you have to just set an equation that describes the wave motion. So in this particular connection, you are supposed to recall all the fundamental wave equations and then insert these parameters given into that particular standard wave equation. So then you are going to get the result. Let us see the solution. As you know, the wave traveling in the positive x direction, in general, it is represented as y is equals to a sine 2 pi by lambda into vt minus x. Now here amplitude is given, wavelength is given, velocity is given. Just substitute and simplify. So what you get is y is equals to 0.2 sine 2 pi 60 minus x by 60. Now see here, this is a wave traveling in the positive x direction. If the wave is traveling in the negative x direction, then you have to just replace that x by minus x. Then your result becomes that 60 plus x divided by 60. So this is one of the simple question which is directly based on the standard form of the wave equation. Now let us go to the next question. The path difference between the two waves. Here the two waves are given. Wave 1 is y1 is equals to a1 sine omega t minus 2 pi by lambda x and y2 e2 cos omega t minus 2 pi by lambda x plus 5 is. See, what you have to calculate is path difference. The two waves are given. Very simple question. When the two wave expressions are given, using that you can find out the phase difference. And once if you know phase difference, you can directly find out the path difference. Yes, there is a relationship between phase difference and path difference. Now let us see the solution. Now wave 1 is given as y1 is equals to a1 sine omega t minus 2 pi by lambda x and y2 is in terms of cos. Now if you want to find out the phase difference, the basic idea is both the wave equations either must be in terms of sine or in terms of cos. But you can observe here, wave 1 is given in terms of sine, but y2 is given in terms of cos. Now let us convert that cos in terms of sine using the basic allied angle formula. So in this connection, I can rewrite y2 as a2 sine omega t minus 2 pi by lambda x plus 5 plus pi by 2 extra additional. So when you calculate the phase difference between the two waves, that is y1 and y2. So phase is nothing but a sine of whatever the function that you are observing, sine of, that is omega t minus 2 pi by lambda x, that is in the wave y1, and sine of omega t minus 2 pi by lambda x plus 5 plus pi by 2 in the wave 2. So when you calculate the difference in the phase, it comes out to be 5 plus pi by 2. Okay. Now, when you know the phase difference, now the path difference is given by, you know the formula, the path difference. Here I have represented that path difference by the symbol delta. So delta is equals to lambda by 2 pi into the phase difference. Already you have calculated phase difference as 5 plus pi by 2. So therefore, your answer will be lambda by 2 pi into 5 plus pi by 2. This is the path difference. Now let us go to the next question. Again, this is a question based on the relationship between phase difference and the path difference. The phase difference between two displacements at a certain point A at a time 10 power minus 3 second apart is pi. Find the distance between the point A and B, which is 60 degree out of phase than the point A if the wave velocity is x. Simple. Wave velocity is given, phase difference is given as 60 degree, and the time difference is also given, that 10 power minus 3 second apart. Now let us see the solution. Again, there is a direct relation here. Phase difference delta phi is equals to omega. Omega is nothing but 2 pi f into the time difference. So now substitute the value of the phase difference, that is pi, that is given. By that you get the frequency of the wave as f is equals to 500 hertz. Then again let us use the same relation. Phase difference is equals to k times of path difference. Therefore path difference is equals to phase difference divided by k. K is 2 pi by lambda. That lambda goes to the numerator. So let us substitute. The phase difference is given as 60 degree. 60 degree is nothing but pi by 3. So wavelength is nothing but wave velocity divided by frequency divided by 2 pi. So upon substitution and simplification, your answer will be 3.33 into 10 to the power of minus 4 x. Here x is the wave velocity. This is a general question which is given. Wave velocity is x. So your options also will be in terms of x. So the right answer will be 3.33 into 10 power minus 4 x. Let us go to the next question. Again, it's a question based on the standard wave equation. In the given progressive wave equation, y is equal to 0.5 sine 10 pi t minus 5x, where x sine y in centimeter and t in second. Then the maximum velocity of the particle is. So this is a simple question. Well, velocity is nothing but omega divided by k. Just go back to the question and you see what is omega here. So this is the equation which you can directly compare with y is equal to a sine omega t minus kx. So your omega will be what? 10 pi and k will be pi. So 10 pi divided by 5. When you simplify this, your answer will be 5 centimeter per second. Simple question. Let us go to the next question. The amplitude of a wave is represented by the displacement equation. Y is equals to 1 by root a sin omega t plus or minus 1 by root b cos omega t will be. So this is the equation which is given. What you have to find out is the amplitude. You know the resultant phase difference is given by pi by 2. You can just observe the equation. One is sin omega t, the other one is sin omega t plus pi by 2. So obviously there is a phase difference of pi by 2. When the phase difference is pi by 2, the resultant amplitude formula is there directly root of what? A1 square plus A2 square. Here A1, A2 values are given. A1 is 1 by root A whole square plus A2 is 1 by root B and its square. So when you just simplify this, root of 1 by A plus 1 by B, which upon simplification, you get root of A plus B divided by AB. Let's go to the next question. If the frequency of a wave is increased by 25%, then the change in its wavelength will be. Medium is not changed. You can observe that the information given in the bracket. When the medium is not changed, remember the wave velocity will remain constant. So options are given: 20% increase, 20% decrease, 25% increase, and 25% decrease. So we have to just use the relationship between wave velocity, wavelength, and the frequency here in this particular connection. Now let us see. V is equal to f lambda, which is constant. Why it is constant? Because information is given. Just go back to that question and see. Medium is not changed. When the medium is not changed, velocity remains constant. That is V is equal to f lambda remains constant. Therefore, I can write f1 lambda 1 as equals to f2 lambda 2. So I keep f1 lambda 1 as it is equals to f2. Given that f2 is increased by 25%, therefore the new frequency will be 1.25 times of what? F1 into lambda 2. So when you simplify, so what you get is lambda 2 is equals to lambda 1 divided by 1.25. It means what? The wavelength decreases. Then let us calculate percentage change in the wavelength. So percentage change in wavelength formula is that the difference in the wavelength divided by original wavelength multiplied by 100. So the difference in the wavelength can be calculated here. Lambda 1 minus lambda 2 you have calculated lambda 1 by 1.25 by lambda 1. So lambda 1 just comes out as a common there in the numerator and gets cancelled with the denominator lambda 1 into 100. So upon simplification, so what you get is 20%. That will be our answer. Let's go to the next question. The frequency of tuning fork A and B are respectively 3% more and 2% less than the frequency of the tuning fork C. Okay, when A and B are simultaneously excited, 5 beats per second are produced. Then the frequency of the tuning fork is. Okay, here this is a question based on the concept of beats. You know what are beats? The beats are produced during superposition of the two waves which are having slightly different frequencies. So that the difference in the frequency itself is given in the question, that A is 3% more and B is 2% less than the tuning fork C. Now let us see the solution. Let n be the frequency of the tuning fork C, and there is a slight correction in the question. I'm sorry for that. The frequency of the tuning fork C is asked here, not A. Slightly make a correction. I repeat this. In the last sentence, then the frequency of the tuning fork C is. We have to calculate frequency of the tuning fork C, not A. Okay. Now let n be the frequency of the fork C. Then what is frequency of the tuning fork A? It will be n plus 3% of n. 3% is 3 by 100 n. So when you simplify that, 103 by 100 n. Similarly, NB will be n minus, because it is 2% less than the frequency of the tuning fork C. So that comes out to be 98 divided by 100 times of what? N. Again, there n is missing. Note it down. NB is equal to n minus 2n by 100. Upon simplification, what you get is 98 divided by 100 times of n. But what is the information given? They are going to produce 5 beats. You know, beat frequency formula, Na minus Nb, it is equals to 5. So when you substitute the values of Na and Nb, so what you get is 5 is equals to 5n by 5, which upon simplification, n is equals to 100 hertz. It means what? The frequency of the unknown tuning fork, that is C, is 100 hertz. And this is one of the best application of the concept of beats. So beats can be used to determine the unknown frequency. And this particular question, it is clearly explained how the frequency of the unknown tuning fork can be calculated. Now let us go to the next question again. Beats are produced by two waves given by wave 1 is y1 is equals to a sine 2000 pi t, and y2 is a sine 2008 pi t. The number of beats heard per second is. Once again, this is the question based on the concept of beats, and the formula for beats heard per second is nothing but beat frequency, and the beat frequency formula is what? Difference in the frequencies, that is f1 minus f2. Here, very simple question. You have to compare the given equation with the standard wave equations and then find out the frequencies. And those frequencies are here. You can find out the number of beats per second. The basic formula is n1 minus n2. Compare the given equation with the standard wave equation. So upon comparison, you can just go through the first question. Y1 is the first equation. Y1 is a sine 2000 pi t. So when you compare, omega 1 is 2000 pi, which is equals to 2 pi n1. So upon simplification, n1 comes out to be 1000 hertz. Similarly, see the second equation, it is a sine 2008 pi t. Once again, if you compare, your omega 2 will be 2008 pi, which is 2 pi n2. Again, simplify this, what you get is 1004 hertz. It means wave 1 has the frequency of 1000 hertz and wave 2 has the frequency of 1004 hertz. Therefore, the number of beats heard per second, just use the basic formula n1 minus n2. So 1004 minus 1000 is equals to 4. Therefore, the answer is 4. Let us go to the next question. An unknown frequency x produces 8 beats per second with frequency of 250 hertz and 12 beats with 270 hertz source. Then what is that unknown frequency? This is another best application for the concept of beats. Unknown frequency can be calculated. You can just use the information given. Given that the source of frequency x gives 8 beats per second with frequency 250 hertz. So what are the possible frequencies? The possible frequencies must be either that 250 hertz either plus 8 or 250 hertz minus 8. Therefore, the frequencies must be either 258 hertz or 242 hertz. As the source frequency X gives 12 beats per second with another frequency 270 hertz. Its possible frequencies. Now see here, if the frequency is 270 hertz and when it is giving 12 beats, obviously the frequency of the other tuning fork must be either 282 or 258 hertz. The only possible frequency of X which gives 8 beat with frequency 250 hertz is also 12 beats per second with 258 hertz. So here the conditions are, even if the frequency changes, the number of beats also changes. So for which frequency, even if it changes, is going to give either 8 beats with the first tuning fork or 12 beats with the second tuning fork. So therefore, the answer must be 258 hertz. This is a logical based question. Just have a thought process behind calculation of the beat frequencies. You will end up with the answer. Your answer must be A. Let us go to the next question. For the stationary wave, so this question is based on the concept of stationary waves. Y is equals to 4 sine pi x by 15 cos 96 pi t. Distance between a node and the next NT node. So there are some general properties of the stationary waves, as you know. First of all, try to recall what are these stationary waves. You know that whenever the two identical waves traveling along the same line but in the opposite directions, and when the two such waves undergo superposition, what are produced are the stationary waves. And you see, we have developed a theory for the formation of the stationary waves. In this particular question, what you need to do is just compare the given equation with, again, the standard equation of the stationary waves, and then you can find out the distance between node and the antinode. As you know, the distance between any two consecutive node or any two consecutive antinode will be lambda by 2, and the distance between the node and the next antinode will be what? Lambda by 4. If you can just find out what is wavelength, then directly you can find out the distance between node and the next antinode. Now let us see the solution. What I just told you, the compare the given equation with the standard wave equation. So y is equals to 2a sine 2 pi by lambda x and cos of 2 pi nu t by lambda gives us as 2 pi by lambda is pi by 15. Just compare pi by 15 x and here it is 2 pi by lambda x. Upon comparison, so what you get is wavelength as 30 meter. So once if you get the wavelength, then the distance between the nearest node and antinode, as I told you, it is lambda by 4. So wavelength is given as 30 divided by 4. So 30 divided by 4 is what? 7.5. So the answer is A. Let's go to the next question. The equation of a stationary wave is given by y is equals to 6 sine pi x by 3 cos 40 pi t, where y and x are given in centimeter and the time t is given in second. Then amplitude of the progressive wave is, again similar type of question. Just compare there. The amplitude is in the standard wave equation, what wave is 2a sine of that. Instead of 2a, here it is given as what? 6. So just compare 2a is equal to 6. Upon simplification, amplitude a is equals to 3 centimeter. Simple question. Next question. A string of 7 meter length has a mass of 0.035 kilogram. If the tension in the string is 60.5 Newton, then the speed of the wave on the string is. So this is the question based on the formation of the waves on a stretched string. So simple. We know the velocity of the waves on a stretched string is given by V is equal to root of tension divided by M, small m. Here note down very important thing. Small m is mass per unit length. Sometimes we call it as the linear mass density or simply linear density. So substitute the values here. Tension is given as, just go to the question, 60.5 Newton divided by mass per unit length will be what? Mass 0.035 divided by length is 7. So just simplify that. Your answer will be 110 meter per second. So simple question. Let's go to the next question. Fundamental frequency of the sonometer wire is N. If the length, tension and the diameter of the wire are tripled, then what is the new fundamental frequency? So we have the laws of vibrations of a stretched string. You know that the expression for fundamental frequency is N is equals to, actually the original equation is 1 by 2 L square root of T by pi rho is there. Here we have just simplified this as per the given data here. Length is there, the tension is there and the diameter. I am once again repeating, just recall the expression for the frequency of vibration of a stretched string. So that expression was N is equals to P divided by 2L into root of T by M. T is tension and M is again linear mass density, L is length of the wire, and P stands for the number of loops. Since he is talking about the fundamental frequency, the number of loops becomes equals to 1. That's why it will be 1 by 2L root of T by M. M is mass per unit length, which I have converted in terms of the density and the volume. So in view of this, the corrected equation will be 1 by 2L square root of T divided by pi r square rho. It means here N proportional to root T divided by L into R. Okay. So take the ratios. N1 by N2 is equal to root of T1 by T2 into L2 by L1 into R2 divided by R1. Now just comparisons are given here. It is tripled. All the three quantities, length, tension and diameter of the wire are tripled. Then what is the fundamental frequency? So just substitute all the values. L2 is 3 times of L, R2 will be 2 times of R, and just simplify that. So what you get is 3 root 3. Let us go to the next question. A guitar string of length L has the fundamental frequency F. Where should it be pressed to produce another fundamental frequency if the ratio of the fundamental frequencies is F? So simple, it's called as a law of length. So what this law of length states is the fundamental frequency of the vibration of a stretched string is inversely proportional to the length. Therefore, F is equals to what? L dash divided by L. This implies F is L dash, which is equals to FL. So the answer is FL. Next question. The first overtone of a stretched string of given wavelength is 320 Hz. The first harmonic is. Okay, here one should be very clear with the two terms here, overtone and harmonics. Overtones are nothing but, so these are any frequencies higher than the fundamental frequency. So they are called as the overtones. And harmonic is just a frequency. First harmonic, second harmonic means 2 times, third harmonic means 3 times. Likewise it is. Let the fundamental frequency be N. Minimum frequency of the nth overtone will be N plus 1 times of F. So here given that the two harmonic, what is that? First overtone. First overtone is nothing but second harmonic. So therefore it is 2F is equals to 320. That minus is there, just kindly ignore that. 2F is equals to 320 and upon simplification F is 160 Hz. Let's go to the next question. Two wires are kept tight between the pair of supports. The tension in the wires are in the ratio 2:1. The radii are in the ratio 3:1 and densities are in the ratio 1:2, the ratio of their fundamental frequencies. Like a previous question what we have solved, again the formula is same. Frequency is 1 divided by L D root of actually T by pi rho. But here it is frequencies, it is given 3 times and the tension is 2 times. Upon simplification, it is 1 by LD root of T by pi 2 rho. So take the ratio of nu and nu dash. All those terms like tension, diameter and densities get cancelled. So what you get is nu by nu dash is equal to root 2 by 3 into root 2, which is equals to 2 by 3. So your answer must be 2 by 3. What is the percentage change in tension necessary in a sonometer of the fixed length to produce a note 1 octave lower than the before? So octave is half of the original frequency. It should be less than that. So we know that in a sonometer, the given percentage change in the tension necessary in a sonometer of the fixed length. Important information. Length is fixed to produce a note 1 octave lower than before. So now given that V proportional to root T is the formula. V1 by V2 is given as 2. Octave means it is 2. It's equal to root of what? T1 by T2. Just solve this. Squaring on both sides. So what you get is T2 is equal to T1 by 4. Now what is the percentage change in tension? Again, difference in the tension divided by original tension multiplied by 100. So difference will be T1 minus T2 is T1 by 4 divided by T1, and simplify. What you get is 75%. Let's go to the next question. What is the base frequency if a pipe gives notes of frequencies 425, 255 and 595, and decide whether it is a closed pipe or open pipe? So this is a question based on the concepts of the modes of vibrations in the closed pipe or the open pipe. Observe carefully the given frequencies 425, 255 and 595. Let the base frequency be N, and for the closed pipe, closed pipe you have the odd harmonics of the fundamental, that is N, 3N and 5N. So note that here 3N is 255, for which N becomes 85 and 5N becomes 425 and 7N becomes what? 595. So when you observe this, you can easily decide that the fundamental frequency becomes 85 and this becomes a closed pipe, as because once again observe the question, the frequency is given 425, 255 and 595 are the odd harmonics of the fundamental frequency 85. Therefore your answer is D. Let us go to the next question. A closed organ pipe and an open organ pipe are tuned to the same fundamental frequency. What is the ratio of the lengths? Very simple question. What you need to do is just equate the fundamental frequencies of both closed organ pipe and open organ pipe. Only thing is that they have the different lengths. Just find out what is the ratio of the lengths. Let L1 and L2 be the length of the closed and open organ pipe. So just equate. As you know, the formula for the fundamental frequency of the closed pipe is V by 4L, and that of the open pipe is V by 2L. Then just you equate those two, N1 is equals to N2. So it is V by lambda 1 is equals to V by lambda 2. Lambda 1, lambda 2 values you can find out using the basic equations. And upon simplification, so you get the ratio of the lengths, that is L1 by L2 is equals to 1 divided by 2. Let's go to the next question. An organ pipe P1 closed at 1, vibrating in its first overtone, and another pipe P2 open at both ends, vibrating in the third overtone, are in resonance. Resonance meaning it's something like a frequency matching condition with a given tuning fork. The ratio of the lengths of the pipes, that is P1 to that of the P2. Let's go to the solution. So just use the condition here. The organ pipe P1 closed at 1, vibrating in the first overtone. Closed pipe first overtone. Closed pipe first overtone will be 3 times of the fundamental, as because in the closed organ pipe the frequencies are in the ratio 1:3:5. So first overtone meaning third harmonic. It means what? You just write down 3 times of V by 4L1. 3 times of V by 4L1 must be equated to, second is open pipe, and it is in the third overtone. Third overtone in the open pipe, recall the fundamental frequency ratios in the open pipe. It is 1:2:3. All harmonics are present in the overtone. So your third overtone means it is 4 times of the fundamental frequency. Therefore, just write down an equation. 3 times of V by 4L1, 3 times of V by 4L1 must be equals to 4 times of V by 2L2. And just simplify, you will get the result. So that's where we will stop this particular section, and I will be coming up with some more questions in the next session. Thank you.